Alright, we're back in action. So what can we learn from the ocean being sand? And how they interact this way. How humans interact. When I come here, I think about how vast the ocean is. How large of a body of water is. How many things live inside of it compared to how many things live on land. Or compared to how many things live in the United States and what we consider life. Plants, animals, sea creatures, birds, human animals. Politically influenced by the media, owned by corporations, there's this assumption that only liberal-minded people can come here and think this way. That only liberal-minded people can connect to nature and have a desire to have respect for nature, or to be able to see the parallels between the beauty in nature and the beauty in life. But that's not my experience. My experience is some of the most conservative Christian Republicans I know are the most open-minded people. So I guess we have to define terms, which I don't know if I can do off the top of my head, but liberal, conservative, and open-minded, because there's this idea that you have to be liberal to be open-minded, but I know a lot of closed-minded liberals who refuse to try to understand the way conservatives think, or why people so blindly, as we, as liberals see it, so blindly trust religion or conservative ideas. My understanding of liberal is, how do you define liberal? I identify as a liberal and I don't even know how to define it. Because I think some of the ways that we define liberal and conservative are so vulgar. Like, liberal means that you love the earth and that you support labor unions and that you don't think rich people should be rich. That you're more open-minded. Just leaving that idea completely broad, that conservatives can't be open-minded, because to be conservative means to be closed-minded, to be religious, to be opposed to market or regulating a free market. But in my experience, when I've actually put politics and religion aside, because we have to define politics, because anything could be political. Nowadays, abortion is political, but in its essence, abortion is not a political issue. So I guess I should say economics, because it's money. When I sit down with people who are religious, people who are conservative in the sense that they think they're morally conservative, that their values are to be modest in the way one presents themselves physically, and not vulgar in the way someone speaks. So conservative in just this moral value sense. When I've sat down with these people and put the ideas of how we should move money around and how we should share resources around, which is important. I'm not saying that we just can't talk about that, but I'm saying when I have put those ideas aside and put aside the ideas of religion, not necessarily belief or spirituality, but religion as an institutionalized, institution. The people that I have sat down with, I'm not saying all conservatives are this way, but the people that I have sat down with who are very conservative in their political views, the things that have been politicized, like religion, gay rights, and abortion, in essence, religion, and prayer in schools, and all these things that really are not the essence of politics, of sharing resources. Their ideas about sharing resources and beliefs about the way we are supposed to do life as humans are much more similar to mine than what the media portrays. This over-conservative idea of what it means to be a Republican that is perpetuated by Fox News, it's not what most of the people in my life, including my father, my best friend, and my number one role model, all three Republicans, agree with. And this over-idealized liberal that hates God, hates religion, hugs trees all day, and wants to support a welfare system that just hands people money by the thousands, is also not what my liberal friends are like. But I will say that in my experience, the liberals that I know are much more closed-minded. And by closed-minded, I mean willing to consider that there might be truth in the view that is opposed to theirs. In my experience, Republicans in my life and conservatives in my life are much more open to listening to what simply I have to say, or ideas that are liberal. Then the liberal friends in my life are willing to listen to why conservatives believe what they do. I find the liberals to be much more combative, and not in a debate sense, a discussion sense, but to automatically just disvalue anything that a conservative believes. But this is not to say that I, by any means, agree with my conservative friends anymore, because despite the fact that my liberal friends seem to be more stubborn, I still agree with their values more. So I have been exploring this new idea of American individualism. In an article I recently read, discusses the Woodstock Revolution and the Wall Street Revolution. And the Woodstock Revolution would say that all things personal should be of individual choice pertaining to marriage, abortion, and all of these things, which I agree with all of those ideas, that marriage should be up to a person, religion should not play a role in politics or in our governance. Certainly everyone should have the right to marry, but even further than that, I don't think marriage should be a government institution. And that women should have every right to do anything they desire with their own bodies. But then there's this Wall Street revolution that says we should deregulate the free market and people should be able to do what they want in the market. And what we seem to be missing is that there is a deep commonality between these two revolutions, is that this emphasis that I can do whatever I want and no one's going to tell me what to do. Regardless of which one's right and which one's wrong, there's an underlying issue in which both revolutions are saying, I don't care what's best for society, because what's best is what gives me the most individual freedom. And although I would really like to argue that the Woodstock Revolution is right in this argument, if I do that, am I obligated to believe that the Wall Street Revolution is right? Because, in essence, the Woodstock Revolution is this motivating vehicle for the liberal left to demonize the religious right. And by saying that religious people have no heart because they don't support gay marriage, or that they don't understand love, or that they're hateful people, it truly is inaccurate. Because although I completely disagree with this point of view, I don't think it's that these people, these religious right that think that gay marriage or abortion rights are part of those inalienable rights, are doing it out of lack of love. I think it is out of fear. What they fear, to quote the next song I'll be doing my next dance to, is I don't know. What does America fear by allowing gay people to get married? That religious institutions will fall? Well, they're doing that on their own, right? And what about the Wall Street Revolution that demonizes union workers? Well, the belief is that we give workers or people more power, then democracy and capitalism, which apparently belong together, will fall. Well, it's going to do it to himself, right? If you don't give workers rights, then they will organize and they will revolt. It is within the best interest of businesses to give workers rights. Also in this article that I read about individual needs overcoming interdependent needs, it discusses the fact that the more individualism there is in society, the harder it is for the collective governance to echo multiple individual choices. So the more we promote individualism in our societies, the harder it is for representatives to echo a voice, because there's so many competing voices. In that ocean, is individualism promoted? No. Interdependence among the ecosystems is dominating. Some things that may be discussed in the future are also money and agriculture. How power being who gets what, when, and where. Someone having the power to decide that because someone is hoarding wealth. And wealth ultimately is defined by how much resources you have control over. So it would seem from there that an interdependent society would not support individualism or allowing a small group to have a strong dominance or control over resources. And what role does money play in this system? Is there greed without money? I suppose that's getting a little off topic, so I think we're going to head back up the mountain and take another quick break, and we'll be back after these local words and responses.